Hi, I'm Jeff Lee from the CPS Writing Support Center, and today I'm going to show you how to use QuickParts in Microsoft Word. So we're starting in a Word document. I've started with a student paper because that's where I would be creating these QuickParts most likely. With that Word document open, I want to navigate over to the review pane. And then just a little bit to the right of that, you turn on track changes. And turning on track changes makes sure that the writing that you do on your student's paper will be a different color from the writing that your student does, that standard black print that your student uses. So I've begun reviewing the student's paper, and I've come to a phrase that I thought was problematic. And I've highlighted that phrase here in yellow, and then typed in my comment right after it. I've said that this wording is awkward and that you may want to rework it. And of course, we come across phrases like this all the time in student papers, and pointing out that a wording of a phrase or a sentence is awkward is something that we might want to do a second time or a third time in the same student's paper, and then repeatedly in other students' papers too. So it makes sense to have this comment stored so that you can use it again easily and you don't have to type it out over and over and over again. So once I have that comment typed out, I can begin that storage process, and that's how I use my QuickParts. That's where these QuickParts come into play. So with my comment highlighted, I select the Insert pane from that top menu on Word, and then over to the right, I select QuickParts. This is what comes up on my screen. As you see, there are some options that are already in here. That's because I've already built some QuickParts in my version of Microsoft Word. Those won't be there for you, of course. You have to build those as you're going. But the option that you need will be the same regardless. And this menu down here toward the bottom is going to be the same for both of us. The option that you want to choose is this one here down at the end. It says Save Selection to QuickPart Gallery. And that brings up a dialog box. And you only have to enter one piece of information in this dialog box, and that is a name that you can remember that tells you about that QuickPart. I've given this one awkward wording. I'm going to know what that means if I ever want to use that comment again. So with that name in there, I click OK, and I've got my QuickPart stored away. So I continue reviewing this student's paper. You see I've made a different note right in here. And then I move down to the next paragraph, and I come to a problematic phrase, one that my QuickPart could actually come in handy for. So again, I've highlighted that phrase so the student knows just what it is that I'm talking about. And I want to enter my QuickPart right here, that one that I just created, the awkward wording QuickPart. So I put my cursor right after that highlighted phrase, and with it there, I open QuickParts back up, and that QuickPart that I just created is one of the choices that I have. I select that, and automatically, Word drops that comment right back in to this spot that I had left my cursor at. It saved me a lot of time. I haven't had to write out that phrase. This one's just an example, of course. It wasn't a very long phrase to write out, but regardless, I've saved myself a little bit of time because I haven't had to write those words out. And you can see how over time, as you build longer and more detailed QuickParts, it would save you lots of time reviewing your student papers. So I carry on with my review of this student's paper, and you see I've come to a problem with a sentence in this student's paper a little bit further down in it. And I've written in a comment here. I've said that you need to revise this sentence. The wording's difficult to follow and your intended meaning is somewhat unclear as a result. Again, this is the kind of standard comment that's useful to have on hand, the kind of thing that we write over and over again. And so it would be useful to have this in your QuickParts library so that you don't have to type it out over and over again. So I'm still in my Insert pane, and while in that Insert pane, I want to open back up my QuickParts. And again, go all the way down to the bottom of that and save this selection to the QuickPart Gallery. Again, your dialog box comes up and you give it a name that suits the comment that you can also remember. I've called this one Revise Sentence. Then I click OK. And now that one's stored away in my library. Now I've been typing these comments right into the body of the student's paper, but of course sometimes we leave comments on our students' papers in comment bubbles that are off to the side. And so let's take a look at how I might use one of those and also QuickParts with one of those. Now I'm down a little bit further in the student's paper, and I found a phrase that I want to highlight. Again, I've used my mouse to highlight this phrase, and I've moved over to the Review pane in Word, and I've selected the New Comment option. And what comes up then is a comment bubble. It's off to the right-hand side, and of course that text is highlighted in blue for the student as well. Now let's say that I have a QuickPart that I want to insert into this comment bubble. What I do is follow the same process that I was following before. Navigate back over to the Insert pane, and then over to QuickParts. I have a QuickPart that's built for this problem right here. The problem was with the capitalization of job titles. And I navigate over to QuickParts and select that QuickPart from my little QuickParts library, and it drops automatically into that comment bubble. And I haven't had to type this one out again because I did it once, saved it, and it's there for me to use whenever I need it afterward. So I continue with my review of that student's paper. See a little bit further down, the student has a problem with the indentation of the next paragraph. I leave a comment about that, and on down in that same paragraph, see that the student has repeated the same word in quick succession. And that is something that I actually have a QuickPart built for, that when you repeat the same word or the same phrase in quick succession, it can make your sentences harder to follow. And so I want to leave that QuickPart for my student. And so again, because I'm in the insert pane, all I have to do is navigate over to QuickParts, scroll down and find the QuickPart that I have that's built for this. I've labeled that one repetition. I select it, and it pops right into my student's paper. Avoid repetitions like this. They're distracting and they often make a sentence harder to follow. A pretty simple one, but because I have that QuickPart saved, I don't have to write it out again and again. And I do use this comment and many of these comments that I have saved pretty regularly. So moving relatively quickly through the rest of the review that I've done here, you can see I've dropped in some QuickParts that I already have built, and I've also done some of what I described just a moment ago and left individualized feedback. Overall, the process works pretty quickly. So you can see how this would make your feedback to your students quicker and more efficient, and by extension, more individualized, which I think is our goal, to give each of our students as much attention as we can. So that's it. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions.